Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Come on in. It is story time. Story time. Are you excited today? Are you happy? As always, we are joyful, for this is the day that the Lord has made, and we shall rejoice and be glad in it. It is a beautiful day, even though it's a little cloudy outside. It's still a beautiful day because it is a new day. And with it always being a new day, there's always a new glories and new mercies upon us that we see. So we have nothing but to be happy and thankful for. So, you ready for the story time? Ready for today's story? It's a new one. I'm excited to read it. So, as always, we're going to get snuggled in our chairs and get comfortable. All right. We are going to read today Squeak the Lion. Squeak the Lion. So let's see what kind of adventure Squeak the Lion is about. Squeak the Lion, written by Catherine Sully and illustrated by Emma Leach. Little Squeak was the youngest lion cub in the pride. All the other lions loved Squeak. He's so cute and cuddly, they said. Isn't he funny? They said. There goes Squeak. He is cute. And the lion and the lioness at the top. But Squeak didn't want to be cute or funny. Squeak wanted to be just like his older brother, Bruno, and Leo. Bruno was very brave and strong, and Leo was clever and cunning. Mm. So these are Squeak's brothers. That's Bruno, strong and brave, and that's Leo, cunning and smart. Squeak wasn't even his proper name. His real name was Roy. That was a proper lion's name. Squeak was a silly baby name. Why does everyone have to call me Squeak? He asked his brothers grumpily. Because when you were a baby, you went squeak, 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 explained Leo. So everyone called you Squeak, laughed Bruno. Ha 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 ha. So they called him Squeak because that's what he would do. Squeak, squeak, squeak. He doesn't look very happy. One day, Bruno and Leo were going hunting. Somebody calling me. One day, Bruno and Leo were going hunting. Wait for me, called Squeak, trotting after them. Squeak hurried to catch up, but soon his little legs were feeling tired. He stopped for a rest and watched as Bruno and Leo disappeared into tall grass. So there goes Bruno and Leo disappearing into the tall grass. I wonder where they went or where they're going, huh? When he finally caught up with them, Bruno and Leo were crouched over a nest of nasty looking eggs. Suddenly there was a hiss. A head appeared, swaying above the tree grass. It was a snake. The nest of eggs belonged to her. She lunged at the lion cubs, but brave Bruno roared. He swiped the snake with his paw and it slithered away. Ooh, that had to be scary. But Bruno was the brave one. I would have been scared had I seen a snake like that. Ooh. Wow, Bruno, that was brave, said Leo as the lion cubs made their way home. Did you see how Bruno swiped that sneaky snake? Said Squeak. Just at that moment, Squeak spotted a lizard crossing the path. He swiped at the lizard with his paw, just like Bruno. But the lizard quickly flicked out its tongue. Squeak, but the lizard quickly flicked out its tongue, smashing Squeak on the nose. There you go. That's what happened. Hey, Ashton. Squeak was so surprised that he jumped. The angry lizard continued on its way. Bruno and Leo laughed. You're so funny, Squeak. Ha 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 ha. There goes his brothers laughing at him. You see the lions, Ashton? The next day, Bruno and Leo went hunting again. Wait for me, called Squeak as he followed his brothers down the watery hole. It was very muddy along the bank, and Squeak's paws kept sticking to the mud. It slowed him down. Now I'll never catch up, he sighed as he watched his brothers walking ahead. Oh, look at poor Squeak, poor Squeak. Oh. Then Bruno and Leo stopped. They spied some paw prints in the mud. These tracks belong to a water buffalo, said clever Leo, sniffing the ground. Let's follow it and sneak up on it from behind, said brave Bruno as they looked along the muddy trail. So there go his brothers, Bruno and Leo, looking at the paw prints in the mud. You see the paw prints? And they decided they're going to go and follow them. Let's see if they find out what it is. By that time, Squeak reached the water. There were lots of paw prints in the mud, and his brothers were nowhere to be seen. Squeak sniffed the ground and looked at the paw prints. I can follow tracks too, said Squeak to himself. And then he set off to follow the tracks, around and around and around for a long way until Squeak could hear his brothers laughing. He looked up and looked around at the tracks. Squeak had followed his own tracks in a big circle. Oh no! You're so funny, Squeak, laughed Bruno and Leo. Squeak was following the tracks, but they ended up being his own tracks, and his brothers just laughed at him. That's sad. The following day, Bruno and Leo were going hunting again. Wait for me, called Squeak. But this time, his brothers didn't want Squeak to come around. Not this time, Squeak, said Bruno. You'll slow us down. Or you'll get into trouble, said Leo. But Squeak wasn't going to miss a hunting trip. He followed his brothers a little way anyway. So there goes Squeak, following after his brothers. That's just like a big brother and sister. They're always going to follow behind you. That's like Ashton following behind Lamarian, huh? Mm-hmm. Leo and Bruno soon disappeared down a trail through some trees. They followed the trail until they found a good place to set a trap. Clever Leo piled up some berries under a tree where a hungry squirrel would find them. Brave Bruno climbed up the tree and crept along a branch, ready to pounce. So there goes brave Bruno up on the tree. He's ready to just jump, pounce on something. And there goes Leo. He set up the trap for the squirrel. Very soon, a squirrel hopped towards the berries. The trap had worked. Bruno crept further along the branch, ready to pounce. But suddenly, there was a crack. The branch broke and came crashing down. The starling squirrel ran off and Bruno tumbled to the ground. Ouch! Roared Bruno. His tail was caught on the branch. Bruno was trapped and he couldn't move. Don't worry, Bruno, called clever Leo. I'll find a way to get you out. So Bruno was on the branch, but it broke. Oh no. And there goes the squirrel. And you see his brother right there, but where is Squeak? Here goes Squeak. You see Squeak? Yep, that's Squeak. Squeak had just caught up with his brothers and was watching from behind a tree. Oh, my tail, Bruno moaned. Hurry up and help me out. Now, thought Leo, all I need is a vine and a heavy rock to lift the branch. But Leo couldn't finish because a loud harp interrupted him. It was the sound of an elephant. Oh no! Growled Bruno. We're on the elephant trail and the elephants are heading this way. Gasped Leo. Uh-oh. The elephants are coming. The elephants are coming. Oh no. While Leo dashed about to find a piece of rope, a long line of elephants appeared at the end of the track. Squeak looked at the elephants, then looked at Bruno, trapped under the branch. The elephants were getting nearer and nearer. Leo wasn't going to make it in time. The ground began to shake as the elephants trampled closer and closer. Can you feel it? Go like this. As the elephants coming. The elephants are coming. The elephants are coming. Oh, no. And there goes Bruno under the branch. What happened? There's no time to lose, thought Squeak. He saw a gap below the branch that was just big enough for him to squeeze under. He dashed out from his hiding place into that gap, and with more than a roar, more than a squeak, he heaved the branch with all his might. And you see, little Squeak got the branch. Think he's going to save his brother? Let's see. The branch lifted just enough for Bruno to pull out his tail. Then Squeak pulled the branch away, and the elephants were almost on top of them. Bruno, Squeak, and Leo leapt into the trees just as the elephants came thundering by. Wow, Squeak, that was brave, said Bruno. That was really clever, Squeak, said Leo. Ah, there they go. They were able to get away from the elephant. And Lee Squeak was able to save his brother Bruno. The three brothers climbed down from the tree. Did you see the way Squeak came to the rescue? Said Bruno. Wait until we tell everybody how brave and clever Squeak was, said Leo. Squeak felt very proud. Maybe we should call him Roy from now on, said his brothers. Squeak smiled, but somehow he didn't mind being called Squeak anymore. The end. That's the story of Squeak the Lion. So what it seemed like Squeak was a baby lion, little cub, and had brothers. And he was given a name that he didn't really like. He didn't like being called Squeak. And he wanted to be called something big and brave for who he was. And after all that he went through, he was able to really appreciate his name. It almost reminds me of when we have been given names growing up. And for instance, my name was Reese growing up. I never understood that. I don't know where Reese came from, Sharice, Reese. But it's my nickname. How many of you have nicknames? Some are good, some are embarrassing. But either way, there's still nicknames that are given to us by our older brothers or sisters or family members. And sometimes we don't like being called those names around certain people, or maybe not like being called those names, but those names actually signify who we are. And they actually are endearing. Some of them. Some nicknames aren't. But I like the story of Squeak and the Lion because Squeak the Lion shows that even though he was given this name that kind of was embarrassing, made him feel like he was small, made him feel like he was just this little boy, a little cub, that really his name meant nothing. It was more of who he was on the inside than on the outside. And that's what his brothers got to see, that when it came time for them to be in a situation where they needed his assistance, good old Squeak didn't care about his name, didn't care about what people called him. He just knew what he had to do to help save his brothers. And from that, they were able to see him as who he really is and not by his name. And that's just like with us. Don't care sometimes. No, sticks and stones may break your bones, but words will never hurt you. Sometimes people might call you things, or like I said, you have a nickname that's kind of embarrassing. But either way, people know who you are on the inside. And when you do good works, it shows. And that's what this story is about. That no matter what, your good works are on the inside of you. And a name means nothing, but your character and your quality and the acts that you do mean a whole lot more. So that is our story time for today. I enjoyed that story, Squeak the Lion. And I always enjoy speaking and reading with you at 12 o'clock noon. So come back tomorrow for another new story, and we'll see what we'll be reading tomorrow. And until then, have a good day. Remember, we have Bible study today at 7 o'clock on the same channel. So tell your friends and family to get on board so that we can study together and pray together. Remember, I love you, and so does Jesus. Have a great day. Bye.